The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Trader's Edge with Steve Rhodes. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to the August 18th, the fantastic Friday edition of today's Trader's Edge show. I'm your host, Stevie Perseverance Rhodes, who absolutely knows that each of us should always be pioneers of our future versus prisoners of our past. Hope everyone out there is having a great day. Hey, let's make sure we have an extraordinary one. And the easiest way to do that is to always remember that life is happening for us, not to us. That's right. When you and I make that one little 2x4 shift, it means we can find the gift in every set of circumstance that life is going to toss at us. Now, today, you and I, we're going to go check on the circumstance of these markets. We'll go figure out what those bulls and bears, what those buyers and sellers are communicating to you and I at just past 8 o'clock in the morning. That's right. If you're listening at the normal time and it's just past 11, we're going to make today's show as pertinent as we can for you. And if you are listening live, well, we would love to hear from you. So you can give us a call at 877-927-6648. Of course, if you're listening between 8 and 9 Eastern Standard Time, you can always send me an email. That you would send to steve@tfnn.com. And if you'd be kind enough, in that little subject heading to put radio show question. Of course, if you're inside our Tiger's Den, well, any and every ping will do. So let's go ahead and get this show started on Fantastic Friday. Of course, this is Tiger Financial News Network. I'm Steve Rhodes. Welcome to the show. Right now, we've got U.S. equity futures trading to the upside. Dow futures are up 202 points. NASDAQ up 115 at 0.6%. The S&P 500 ES Mini is up 0.8 or 33 points. Russell's up 0.9 or 17 points. Spot volatility still well below its 50-day exponential moving average. Markets in Asia last night, they closed lower. We'll go figure out what that means here momentarily. In Europe, they are trading higher. The DAX up 153 points. That's 1%. Nearly 0.8 for the FTSE. That's up 56 points. We'll go figure out what that means. Gold is flat. Silver's up 21 cents. Platinum's off $4. Copper's down a penny. Light Sweet Crude is off $1.31. Looks like that wants to continue to move lower. Natural gas is up 22 cents, consolidating with inside that daily profile. We'll take a look at that in a few as well. So we know that there's some strong resistance up there. It's been tested 2 or 3 times. Other commodities, you've got wheat trading up. Most of the commodities are trading higher. Hogs a little bit lower, although that hogs, I think hog still might be a December contract out there. U.S. dollar index, it's off 3 pennies, so it's really flat out there. I do have a 10-minute delay on that. So that's let's begin with. And my apology to subscribers out there. I forgot. It looks like I forgot to send out the newsletter, so I'll do that during the breakout here. Let's start with just really how I start my overview of the morning and take a look at what the markets are doing, and not just take a look at what transpired overnight. What did the handoff of the U.S. do to Asia and then do to Europe out here? So this chart here, there's this set of charts, this multi-set of charts. So we've got the Shanghai on the left-hand side. So what you'll see here, even though the Shanghai finished lower last night, it closed down about 0.6%. What it has an A to B equals CD to the upside. Pattern that is present at the moment. So this is suggesting to you and I that the Shanghai wants to go target the 3410 level. Now, the A to B equals CD, the 1-to-1 takes us a little bit below that. 3410 is the TD9 count breakdown area. The Hang Seng also closing lower last night. It has an A to B equals CD pattern, but what it has not done is it's completed the 1-to-1 level, but it has not generated a bearish reversal candle. Therefore, this still says to us that it wants to go target 18905. That's its TD9 count breakdown area. If we take a look at the Nikkei finished lower by 30 points. That's about 0.1%. You can see that this actually has a completed sell the D point pattern. That formed out here when it formed a dark cloud cover, bearish reversal candle on November 14th. And then what transpired is price moved down and tested and rejected that green oscillator and change line. The green oscillator and change line is a real good momentum signal. When price is above it, tells us that we have a rising price oscillator above zero, and those are bullish conditions. Now, we have a bearish pattern and bullish conditions, so that means that the signal here is neutral at the moment. Now let's move over and take a look at what's going on inside the UK, the FTSE. The FTSE has a confirmed Rhodes Momentum Indicator top. That formed on November 11th when a dark cloud cover candle formed. The high of that candle session is 74.0861. We're at 74.05 right now. A close above 74.0861 will negate that signal. And if it negates that signal, it's going to suggest to us that price wants to make a move to its TD9 count breakdown area, and that's at 75.50. The point here, and let's finish off the DAX. And the DAX, which tries to correlate very closely to the NASDAQ out here, the DAX has a TD9 count top. That formed on the trading session of November 15th. Now, if that high gets taken out, and that high is 14,440.78, we're trading right now at 14,418. If that high gets taken out, that pattern gets negated, and that suggests higher price as well. So this is just the overall markets, what took place in the handoff to Asia, then what's going on in Europe this morning out there. Their topping signals have not been, the topping signals in Europe have not been negated just yet, but you'll want to watch those come the end of the day. If we take a look at the, I don't want to do the ES Mini and the NQ and that stuff right now, so I'm going to close out these charts because we'll come back to those and take a look at them in more detail out there. So what I then want to do is let's go take a look at, well, here's actually, this chart just popped up on the screen. This is, and those of you that are watching in Tiger TV right now or Inside the Den, probably want to try to grab a snapshot of this. So this is a overall market conditions for the majority of the primary instruments. So we've got the equity future contracts up top. I've got the metals then down below that. Then we've got debt and oil and gas out there. You've got commodities, not all the commodities, but the main commodities out there. Then we've got our index ETFs. We've got the sectors, each of the sectors within inside the S&P 500, the most popular ETFs that folks call about here. And then the top stocks, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Walmart, often stocks that folks talk about. Now, when I show up here, there are some prices that haven't come through. Doesn't matter. But what you can take a look at is this is using the signals. If you listen to the show, you know that I speak about TAS market profiles for identifying levels of support, TD9 count breakout and breakdown levels, the oscillator and change line, Rhodes Momentum Indicator signals, TD9 count. This has it all. So what this does is this puts together for these multiple time frames, daily, weekly, and monthly. Also tells you what's going on in a 50-minute, 30-minute, 65, and a 130 chart out time frame out here. And it tells you what their conditions are based upon the tools that I use. So if you're wondering what Stevie or what do these tools tell us about the ES Mini, the ES Mini right now on a daily basis is bullish, period, plain and simple. The weekly chart says the bear market is over, and the monthly chart says we're in a breakdown bear. So what is it? Well, right now we can say that the daily and weekly would be in a counter trend move in the ES Mini until that monthly longer-term time frame chart flips over. But you want to see things taking place on the early time frames to give you some type of signal there. So you've got those conditions. If you take a look at gold, it's bullish. If you take a look at copper, it's a consolidating bull, which tells me that it's bullish, but it's consolidating with inside its daily profile out there. So this gives you all those market conditions. We've got what the current TD9 counts are. Many times folks will just simply write in and call and want to know where we stand on TD9 counts. If we take a look at the semiconductors out here, you can see they've got a TD9 count. The SMHs do. They've got a TD9 count. This is 9 bar with the star. That tells us that the high of the pattern did occur on bars 8 and 9, or in this case, or the bar following bar number 9. So it's a valid TD9 count top out there. And then you've got your support levels. You've got your oscillator and change lines, your daily TD9 count support, as well as TAS market profile support and resistance. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kakestat's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kakestat breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Welcome back, folks. You got Dow equity futures up 220 right now. Nasdaq's up 119. S&P's up 35. The Russell's up 19. Gold's up $1. Silver 22 cents out here. So let's go take a look at the U.S. dollar index out here. And these are the components that make it up. We're looking at the daily time frame chart. So your U.S. dollar index is on the bottom right. We'll take a look at that first. What you'll see out here is really two completed patterns. This completed a Gartley buy pattern, and it did that when it generated a bullish reversal candle. So, and that took place on November the 15th. What also formed on November 15th was bar number 8 of a TD9 count. And then that completed the pattern. Well, it confirmed the pattern on the following day, the 16th, and it completed the pattern on the 17th. So you've got two bottom patterns out there, and you now have a new daily profile that is formed. The new daily profile has support at 105.72, but of course we know that's a bullish hammer candle on November 15th. So the real support, so there's two support levels. One is certainly where the bars are lined up based upon the TAS market profile data. And the second is the bottom of that hammer candle, which is at 105.15. In order for these markets to really cruise higher, you would need to see a close below the bottom of that hammer candle. And then that would suggest, where would the dollar then suggest it would move down to? Well, assuming it's closing below 105.08, it's got another level of support not too far further down, 103.32 out there. So the U.S. dollar index has got bullish patterns, and that suggests that price should make its way up towards its oscillator and change line. Well, it turns out the top of the daily profile and the oscillator and change line pretty much are meeting each other right now, and that's at about the 107.88 area out there. So that's the range of where the U.S. dollar index should head to. Well, if that's going to happen, what it needs to see, the three instruments, the euro, the pound, and the Japanese yen, make up, I believe it's 83.1 or 83.2% of the U.S. dollar index. So all we really have to do is get those three charts to confirm what we're looking at inside the U.S. dollar index. Well, it turns out, not that they don't replicate each other, but they do, or they certainly did in this instance here. What we have now, the euro did not generate a sell the D point pattern, where the dollar generated a buy the D point pattern, which turned into a Gartley buy pattern out here. What the euro did do is it topped with a TD9 count top. And what price should do is make its way down to its oscillator and change line. That's currently printed at 1.0239. So that should get weaker. The dollar should get stronger. Okay, perfect. We take a look at the Japanese yen. The Japanese yen formed a TD9 count bottom as well. That says it should target 142.53 or so. As on this chart here, if the yen is moving higher, that means it's weakening against the U.S. dollar index. Okay, so 2 of the 3 so far, the 3 primaries that we're looking at, are confirming that the U.S. dollar index should or could move higher. If you look at the Great British Pound out here, the Great British Pound has an A to B equals CD pattern in place, but it has not confirmed that. And it does not look like, well, I can't tell whether it's going to confirm this or not. It would need to spike above bar number 7 today. And that spike high is at 1.2029. It would need to spike above that in order to generate a TD9 count top. Now, what price is doing, it's struggling with a breakdown resistance area. And that's at the $1.19, 1.1901 to be specific out there. So it is dealing with that area. If it can close above that and without some type of bearish reversal candle out here, then this should head higher. And if this heads higher, well, this will offset the strength that we could see inside of the U.S. dollar index out there. So that's what's going on. We take a look at the U.S. dollar index, both from with regard to the makeup of the instruments that make it up. We can then also take a look at just simply the multi-time frames for the U.S. dollar. So we pull these charts up here, and these charts are also confirming what we just looked at when we looked at only the daily time frames. What I mean by that is the monthly chart for the U.S. dollar does not have a topping signal. Granted, it has pulled back, and it's been a nice pullback there. But what it's been doing, or what it did do, is it tested and rejected that green oscillator and change line. So on a monthly basis, what the U.S. dollar index is communicating to you and I at 8:22 in the morning is it still has strong momentum to the upside. Well, it turns out that retracement, if we take a look at the weekly chart, which has a confirmed Rhodes momentum indicator top, took price right back to its breakout level. So in order for the U.S. dollar index to suggest that it's going to head maybe significantly lower, and therefore then the U.S. stock markets and gold and metals would head higher, price needs to close below 105.43. Now, I say 105.43, that's a TD9 count breakout level. But again, the hammer candle low is at 105.15. So make it 105.15 if you're taking notes and you put it on your chart out there. But right now, what we know about the weekly chart is price pulled back, tested, and rejected support out there, combined with the daily time frame forming a Gartley buy pattern, a TD9 count bottom. So all this suggests price moving higher. Now, in overnight action out here, what took place yesterday, well, I say yesterday, last night at 2,300 hours. First of all, let's open up the 30-minute time frame chart for the U.S. dollar index. This tops with a TD9 count. So you listen to me discuss the TD9 count pattern. You see it work in multiple time frames. All of the tools that I use here work on multiple time frames. We're agnostic to the time frame. We are agnostic to the instrument. The only thing we're not agnostic to is bad data. If we get bad data flowing through the system, it's going to give us a bad result. But this is good, solid data right here. So what we can see is that TD9 count top led to a test of its TD9 count breakout support. So now we're looking at shorter term charts out here, a 30-minute chart. That level was tested 3 different times, almost 4 times. It was almost tested again at 7:30 this morning. Price didn't get all the way down there. So we've got a rally that's going on. If the rally is going to continue or stretch itself, what you really need to see is you need to see a close below 106.29. You need to see that on the 30-minute bar, not that it's just breaking through that level. So go back, look at the clock, see where we're at, on the half hour. And if price busts through that, well, then that should lead to lower price. That's likely an A to B equals CD to the downside. That would look like this. I'll just simply use my line tool. Whoops, that didn't work. Shoot, Stevie. Let's try that again. There we go. So I'm just going to use my line tool to form the A to B point out here. So that's going to be this. That's going to be that low at 2,300 hours. And then we can just simply move that over to what would be the current C point. Don't know if this pattern is going to unfold. I'm not saying that it is. What I am saying is that if the U.S. dollar on a 30-minute bar closes below 106.29, that's going to signal an A to B equals CD to the downside that would give us a price projection to 105.80 level. Of course, to the upside, if price can close 2 consecutive bars above 106.58, that's what's being tested right now. That is the top of the bullish structured profile. Then you should see the U.S. dollar index make a move up to 106.81. Well, I can guarantee you, not that I can really guarantee this, but most likely, if in fact that is the outcome, what you will see is you'll see the U.S. equity futures start to give up some of the gains. Right now, the Dow futures being up 242, the NASDAQ being up 126, the ES Mini being up $37 out there. So we know that the U.S. dollar, so we know the levels to be watching on the U.S. dollar index. I suggest that I do have a 10-minute delay here, so these numbers are going to be off just a tad. You do see bottom signals on the 5-hour, the 4-hour, the 2-hour chart out there, even on the 60-minute chart. So everything here is set up to suggest to you and I that the U.S. dollar index wants to make that move higher. And if these levels fail, well, then we'd have levels failing on multiple time frames out there, all at about basically the same time out there, and that certainly would suggest lower price. So that's what's going on with regard to the U.S. dollar index. I hope that helps you out, just simply with regard to a good overview of all of the instruments and what they're doing. We took a look at that market outlook chart with multiple time frames out there. No questions that I see right now inside the Tiger's Den for Stevie. I don't believe I've received anything by email. And but if you do have a question, we'd love to hear from you. 877-927-6648 or Steve at TFNN.com. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. You got Dow Equity Futures up 230, NASDAQ up 122, S&P Futures up 36, E-mini Russell's up 20. It is 8:30 in the morning if you are listening live at 11:30. Thanks so much for doing that. We'll be back to normal programming on Monday at 11 o'clock. We do have a request in. Thank you, G-Man, for that. G-Man inside the Tigers Den wants to take a look at Azamil Holdings out there. Ticker symbol is ASML. And what G-Man is looking at is trying to take a short position inside this position. It's inside this equity, inside this position. Hello. First thing here, G-Man, do you see the A to B equals CD pattern that has formed out here? Let me draw that in just simply with the lines. I'll just make that A. Oh, I did it again. How's Stevie doing that? I'll just make that A to B line up here, which is going to take us to bar number 7, where it says letter A, part of the Chapman wave out there. And then we're just going to simply take that bar and put it to the C point where the retracement took place. So that's down there. That's got that letter B in it. Now, what we can see is this made more than a 1-to-1 A to B equals CD. So what that was telling us, G-Man, at that time was to then look for the first bearish reversal candle that would confirm a sell the D point pattern. Well, turns out that that took place on this trading day right here. This was November the 14th. And November 14th, that was a bearish shooting star candle. Now, my experience with shooting stars versus hammer candles, they work differently. Typically, a shooting star candle, the way that it'll work is it'll work immediately, meaning that you'll see lower price. Well, that did not take place in this case here with Azamil Holdings. In fact, what price did was at the open, it gapped up. That was on the trading day of November 15th. Now, that formed bar number 7. You'll see that yesterday was bar number 9. This is not a qualified or a verified TD9 count top out there, G-Man. Now, what you did get was you got a gap to the downside. And that took place not yesterday, but the day before. And so that little gap there said that if price had remained below the gap, and for me that would have meant a close below 586.54, and instead you closed at 589.03. So that sell the D point signal has also failed at this stage. So is now the time to take a short position inside of this, where it's got had 2 topping signals, both which have failed in one single day out there. I don't know, but it's important to just simply understand that the buyers here really seem to have the upper edge, G-Man, right? They've given us 2 signals, and both of those have failed. Now, right now, as we speak in the market, prices trade out at 597.90. 597.90 doesn't take it, above the current high, but if price did close or spike above 608.32, and it could easily do that. So if it spikes above 608.32, well, then what you'll have is a valid TD9 count top. So you'll have your third topping signal. So you don't have a topping signal as we speak right now. The only thing you've got is profile resistance. That profile resistance, by the way, is at the 5. What is it out here? Give me a second. That is at 594.45. Price traded about 597 in the pre-market. Now, I don't know where it's going to open at, but at least we know what's going on inside the pre-market. Now, when I take a look at the weekly chart here, G-Man, what we can see is right now price is trading above last week's high. Though that's not a bearish condition. That doesn't mean it can't gap down on Monday or it can't have a horrible day today. But, and we are at a prior swing point. And so if price does close above that swing point high, that swing point, by the way, is at 592.75. Okay, we're trading above that as we speak right now. Those are not bearish conditions out there. That's suggesting to you and I that price actually wants to move higher. And when we look at the monthly time frame chart, this has formed a real nice bottom. It's a TD9 count bottom. Price with inside, it's bullish structure, monthly profile. Now, we have a ways to go before the month ends out here, but it does look like what price wants to do is get to the 625.98 level out there. So the last chart that I would look at here, G-Man, right now to help us determine whether or not there's a possibility of taking this short. Let's just say that my interpretation of the daily, weekly, and monthly charts is just dead wrong. Well, what's a 30-minute time frame chart showing us? Well, at this stage here, it shows us that price formed a Rhodes momentum indicator top. That pattern was formed, or that pattern was confirmed at 13:30 hours on 11:15 a few days ago. And what price finally did was it pulled back. It broke through one level of support, and it made its way to the next area of support, breakout support, TD9 count support. And that's at the 570 level. Now, what you can see that you have a TD9 count pattern, but not a TD9 count top. And you're not going to get a TD9 count top because the high of that pattern on a 30-minute time frame took place on bar number 7 out here. Price is trading above its profile level, so even a 30-minute time frame chart is more neutral than it is bearish, even though it still has that Rhodes momentum indicator topping pattern out there. So I think you need to wait to see how the day plays out here. I'm not sure that this is the best of short positions just yet. Again, simply from the standpoint that you had two tops, each that formed and each that failed the very next day out there. So, gee, man, thank you very much for writing in on that request. It kind of keeps me focused as far as what to take a look at for you, and I hope that that review helps you out. Excuse me. Hopefully that wasn't shown on TV or on the screen there as I was spitting out water from my mouth. Not really what I intended to do, most certainly. So we do have a couple of requests that have come in. The first one coming in from Brent in Martinez, California. You got to love it. It's 5:35 in the morning, and the early bird does catch the early worm, or sometimes in Brent's case it would be the trout, which would be a beautiful thing. So the question goes like this. Could you please give me your analysis on gold futures contract that has been around the flat line, silver a bit stronger? Do you see any bottoming patterns on the short-term time frame charts? Thanks so much. Have a great day and great weekend. You too, Brent. So let's move over to the set of multi-time frame charts here. That would allow us to take a look at those shorter-term time frames. So let's get the gold contract. That's the December contract up on our screen out here. This will take just a moment to populate. And Brent, you sent in that message about 8:26. It's 8:36 right now. Hopefully you were able to catch the overview of the U.S. dollar index and what it's doing, because that will be applicable, I would think, to gold and what it's doing. So when we take a look at the gold contract out here, and I think you know this, I'm certain you know this, this does have a valid TD9 count top. And that TD9 count top was actually confirmed yesterday. The top or the high took place on November 15th. That was bar number 8. Then bar number 9 the next day. That confirmed the pattern that was completed yesterday. Price is trading with inside a daily profile, Brent. So the resistance level is 1791.80. And the support level is the bottom of its profile, which is also near that green oscillator and change line at 1741.90. More likely than not, price should head back to that area. Well, if that's going to take place, then you need to see the U.S. dollar index, which we took a look at on a 30-minute basis, move higher and take out the resistance levels. 5-hour time frame chart, wave number 7 pattern out here. Letter G. Also has a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top. Right now, price is consolidating with inside that profile. But you asked about the short-term time frame charts. So, Stevie, why don't you just get to what Brent had asked for? So let's do that. Let's open up a 10-minute time frame chart. What do we see out here? We see that the pullback on a 10-minute basis continues to find support at its TD9 count breakout level of 1762. So if gold is going to move lower, you'd see a 10-minute close. Now, this is very short term. You'd see a 10-minute close below 1762. And that would then likely suggest a run for the 7th wave bottom out here. That was on November 17th. And that would take you down to the 1756 to 1759 level. To the upside, you're dealing with a profile resistance level at 1764.80. You did get one close above that, but you need 2 closes above that. That means this 10-minute bar, which closes in less than 2 minutes out there. If price does close above it, that suggests higher price and run for 1770. That's the 10-minute signals. Let's take a look at a 15-minute chart, see what it's communicating to us. Sideways movement. Resistance here, Brent, at 1768.70. We can see that price got up to that level. It tested it twice. It has formed a 7th wave move top as well. As far as the bottom is concerned, it's just consolidating with inside its profile. That's between the range of 1762 and 1765 out there. That's the 15-minute chart. How about a 30-minute chart here for Goldilocks? What is it doing? Well, it's got a nice Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom. Price got up to wave number 5 out there. That's letter E. And I don't really see a whole lot out here to assist us, other than it's got that bottom. Doesn't really have a top so much that I can see out there. So the 30-minute chart, just be aware of that Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom. You most likely are. The 60-minute time frame, that's also got a Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom pattern, but I'm not getting really clear signals from this here. So I'll just simply fall back to the daily time frame for gold, Brent, and that has that TD9 count top. The U.S. dollar index has the TD9 count bottom. So if the U.S. dollar index does find a little bit of mojo, that should move higher, and then gold would move lower out there. So I hope that helps you out with regard to the review for gold. And if not, go ahead and write back to me, and I'll try to get you the additional information that you are looking for. So you have a fantastic weekend as well. Alex writes in, "Hey, Alex, nice to hear from you. It's been a little bit of a while. A little bit of a while. Boy, Stevie, just the best grammar around." So your text, the font size that you use in your emails, it's incredibly small. At least it is on an iPhone out here. But that's okay. And Stevie doesn't have the best of eyes out there. Well, I think they're pretty good eyes, but they've got some issues. The question goes like this: SCHL. So let me get over to the other screen out here and at least get that firing up out here. So that's what we're going to look at is SCHL. So let's get that, make sure you're on the right charts out here. I'm on the right charts. All right, the question goes like this. SCHL closed over 38.91 yesterday at 39.91. Perfect, we see that. Never traded over 40 this week so far. Is it still heading for the September highs? By the way, it traded over 50 about 20 years ago. Thanks, all the best, Alex. Perfect. Thanks for all that information. So when we take a look at this chart here, what you don't have on a daily time frame, take that back. Okay, so this, let me make sure. The high, I'm looking at a old TD9 count, the TD9 count from October 6th. That was October 26th. That was a valid TD9 count. That high, 39.81. You closed above it. So that pattern has been negated. You can see another TD9 count out here, but the high came on bar number 7. So not a valid TD. So no valid topping pattern on the daily time frame. So what that says to me, Alex, is that price should get to 43.02. You're trading above the top of the profile out here. It's a bearish structured profile. Price has been above it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions out there. Let me see what it's doing in the pre-market, SCHL. In the pre-market right now, it's 39.95, so it's trading a bit higher. You asked me if it was going to get to 40, and it's in the pre-market at 39.95 out there. Did you say 40? Yeah, you said 40. So the daily time frame charts are suggesting, yes. Now, this does have this big gap to the downside, and that's obviously an issue for it. So I would say that if you get a close above 40.33, the price should at least go tag that level. And if it closes above that,
on TFNN's
then,
YouTube.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. Sorry about that. I wasn't managing the clock that well out there, and in the middle of a sentence, obviously, it was cut off there, so my apologies for that. We're taking a look at SCHL. That is a Scholastic Corp out there, and this is for Alex. So Alex is asking the question, is this thing going to get up to the $40, maybe $50 area? And if we take a look at the daily time frame chart, it just has to clear that gap to the downside. And again, that level out there, that low, is at the 40.33 level. It's bullish on the monthly time, the weekly time frame. You're trading above last week's high. We know that's a bullish condition. It's trading above the top of its profile. It's red oscillator and change line. Weekly chart support a further move higher, and the monthly chart does too. This is a bullish structured monthly profile. Prices above, just trading above last month's high out there. That's a bullish condition. Now, it's a monthly chart. Things can change in a heartbeat out there, but conditions right now, Alex, you're above a green oscillator and change line. That's a bullish condition. And it's traded above last month's high out there. So that is a bullish condition as well. So right now, the daily, weekly, monthly charts, they do support price moving higher. If we look at a 30-minute time frame out here, what do we see? We see that this formed a TD9 count. This is how these patterns work. Again, all time frames. Forms a TD9 count at 1530, and that was on the 16th, a couple of days ago out there. What happens? Price pulls back and finds support at 36.37. That was both the bottom of a profile as well as its TD9 count breakout level out there. Finally forms a hammer candle. Does that at 3:30 yesterday, and boom, really just takes off from there. So you do have a TD9 count top out here, but if price is able to take out the highs, the high would be where looks like the high is going to be this level here, which is 39.98. That would be another bullish statement. So we don't see bearish charts for you at all on the 30, the daily, the weekly, or the monthly chart out there. So I hope that helps you out. Thanks much for the request. Steve, AMLP, if you have time. We're going to make the time. AMLP. And let's go figure out what this is doing. AMLP is... you've got... that is ALPS ETF Trust Alterian MLP. Wow. Okay. So what is this chart here signaling to you and I? Well, right now, you've got price trading below the bottom of its daily profile. And if it closes below 40.65 today, you'd have 2 consecutive closes below that. In fact, if price, well, let me see where this is actually trading right now in the pre-market. Just curious. This is AMLP. So AMLP is trading right now, and not very much in the way of, it's not very liquid, 40.25. So I don't even know if that was a trade today. But what I would be watching out here, and this is for Jimmy. So Jimmy, if price were to close below the bar from November 9th, that low is 39.82, you'd get an A to B equals CD down pattern. We don't have that just yet. There was a hammer candle that formed 2 days ago. So closing below that low would be a bearish condition, and then obviously the swing point low would be even more important, 39.82. So I would watch for that. Do we have a signal that that's what it's going to do? Well, if I look at the weekly time frame chart, no, we don't. Price has a Rhodes momentum indicator top, but price is also pulled back and tested its green oscillator and change line. So price above its weekly profile, above the green oscillator and change line. It's got a topping signal. That means this is neutral. So it's neutralized. So it puts us back to maybe look at the daily or the monthly chart out here. On the monthly chart, well, the monthly chart is more of a consolidation than it is anything else, with price below 40.97. So if you can get a close above 40.97, that would then change its conditions and suggest a move up to the 50.85 level out here. So what is this telling us? You're consolidating on the monthly, we're neutral on the weekly, and the daily we're just not sure of what it's doing out here. So you are looking to do what? I don't know. You just wanted me to take a look at it. Let me look at the 30-minute time frame chart, see if there's anything here for us to be worried about. You've got a valid TD9 count top out here that is still in play, but prices consolidate with inside that profile. So you're looking for an entry level. An entry level is what you're looking for to the upside. I think we really got to wait for see what this daily chart is going to do out here before I would do anything else. And you may get that A to B equals CD to the downside, and that could get an entry at about 37.30. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back to close out the show.
If you want to take advantage of this